Woo, buddy. It's time for some of you to eat some crow when it comes to Alabama's defense. Stick around. Let's talk about it. The Tide's looking good. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Way Offsides, your favorite sports talk here on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Sunday. The sun rose and Alabama won yesterday. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It didn't look good for a minute there, but they got some things figured out, and the Tide absolutely rolled. And for that, let me hear you sound off in the comment section below with a big roll Tide, please. Thank you. I appreciate you. While you're there, go ahead and leave a big like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Let me know where you're watching from. I love seeing we've had people from Long Island, New York. I've had somebody from Scotland, from Australia, all over the place. So it's kind of cool to see how far and diverse the Alabama nation is. So Alabama gets their get back. They tag them back in Bryant-Denny Stadium. After a week of jaw-jacking from Diego Pavia. Vanderbilt did everything they could to hype their team up for this game. They brought in Johnny Manziel. They brought in Theo Vaughn. College Game Day set it up to be game of the century for some reason. Not really, but they hyped it. They hyped this one up big time. And Kalen DeBoer and company take care of business beating Vanderbilt. Not just beating Vanderbilt, but they get that little backdoor cover there, 30-14 with that late scamper by Jam Miller. And it was a thing of beauty. There was a lot to take away from this game, and we're going to be talking about it today and tomorrow before we turn our attention over to Missouri, which that's going to be another big one. Seems like these next 3 games for Alabama are humongous. If they can get through this window undefeated, their path to a national championship or a playoff becomes much clearer. So you're not going to want to go anywhere. You're going to want to stick around with us. The Missouri breakdown is going to be very, very interesting. I've already started looking at the numbers and everything. You guys need to know going into Missouri week. So you're not going to want to go anywhere. So that's why I said, make sure you're subscribed. But this Vandy game, we'll talk about it a little bit. A little more lopsided than a lot of people thought it was going to be, myself included. I thought it'd be a little more high scoring. I had 38-31 pin for the score. I thought Alabama would struggle the entire game to slow down Diego Pavia. They struggled for the first half to slow down Diego Pavia. Ty Simpson had a fantastic outing. He threw for let's see. He threw for 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, did throw his first interception, but it was going to happen at some point in time. Alabama ran the ball really well. Jam Miller had a really good game. He was averaging almost 7 yards a carry. Wide receivers, everybody got some love, as they do in this Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb system. Tight ends got some love. Running backs got some throw-in love. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful outing by the Tide, and the score doesn't dictate how dominant Alabama was, because for a half they weren't, and that is what we're talking about. I get it, man. The frustration with Kane Wommack in this defense was very obvious on social media at the half. I fire Kane Wommack into the sun. I saw that tweet more than once, and I get it. Let me preface everything else I'm going to say by I understand the frustration, because Alabama struggled with this type of offense last year. They lost to them. They go on the road in week 1. They lose to this kind of offense, and then all of a sudden you spend a half struggling with it again, right? But defensively, Alabama picked this thing up. Now, Vanderbilt ran for 135 yards in this entire game, okay? A huge chunk of that, 2 huge chunks of that came off of that first running touchdown that Vandy had where they broke one, and then the big Diego Pavia run in the first half. I think I'll have to go back and watch it, but Damani Jackson took bad angles on both of those. We talked about that a little bit going into the Vanderbilt game, that Damani Jackson was struggling a little bit. He redeemed himself in the second half, 100%. But something hasn't been clicking well with the secondary and their run fits, and it looks like they're starting to figure it out. Hopefully, because they're going to need it against Missouri, who has like the number 3 rushing offense in the country coming into this week, and Alabama's going to play them at Missouri. So Pavia throws for just under 200 yards, 333 yards total, but score doesn't reflect it. Why? Well, they turned the ball over. Alabama forced some turnovers. That's the thing here. Like, Vanderbilt fans are, taking the moral high ground, or I want to say taking the moral high ground, but they're participation trophies, and well, we beat ourselves. I could get it if Pavia threw some nasty balls, right? Like if he was just throwing some nasty passes and things like that. But the 2 turnovers that Alabama had, they forced them. They forced the first one. It was beautiful. The way Alabama was pressuring Diego Pavia, all of a sudden Alabama had a pass rush. I told you guys going into this week, Yonze Pierre was going to be very, very, very important in this game. Excuse me. He absolutely was. He's going to be important moving forward as well until we get Quay Russaw back. And then, that interception by Keon Sabb, the first one, it wasn't a bad throw by Diego. Keon Sabb just beat the guy. If you go back and watch it, he outmanned the guy for the ball. And so it was just who wanted it more. So Alabama definitely outplayed them. Now, where did Alabama outplay them the most? Well, in the second half. Here we go. This is via Wyatt Fulton over on X. If he posted this, if you guys don't follow him, go give him a follow. It's pretty good. But this is the second half stats for Vandy, Alabama. Alabama absolutely destroyed them in total yards in the second half. But if you'll look, the story is the defense. Alabama's defense was smothering in the second half of this game. Absolutely smothering. The halftime adjustments and the tweaks that were made, whatever changed between the first half of this game and the second half of this game, showed up big time. Big time. Vanderbilt could do absolutely nothing offensively in the second half of this game. They went scoreless. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't really throw the ball efficiently. Alabama's defense just shut them down. It's like a light switch flipped, and Bama's defense just decided, okay, enough's enough. We've had enough of the shovel passes. We've had enough of Pavia running out, making little plays. And then Ty Simpson started making those plays. Look at the first down pickup toss to Isaiah Horton when he looked like he was going to, scamper out of bounds. He started making those kind of plays. And so a lot of people, I think, owe Kane Wommack an apology right now. Right now. I'm not saying Kane Wommack's not going to crap the bed somewhere down the road. I'm not entirely sold on this defensive scheme, but when he actually makes adjustments and does what he needs to do to put his defense in the right position to win the game, then the folks that are kind of reaming him online have to take a step back and say, you know what, you're right. You're absolutely right. Now, I think I haven't gone back and done a full watch through yet. I watched some of the highlights, but I think what Alabama did was a lot in the first half. They were using a 3-man front, and they added a 4th down lineman. I think in the second half. Somebody in the chat, tell me if I'm right. Leave a comment and let me know. But I'm pretty sure that's what Alabama did, and that was one of the biggest adjustments that they made in the second half. And then again, and Greg McElroy kept alluding to this during the game, Alabama's secondary started fitting the run much, much better. DeMonte Jackson had a much better second half. So I said going into this week that this game was going to be bigger than the Georgia game. And a lot of people scoffed at that. And it was big to me because you already have the blueprint laid out by FSU in week 1 on how to beat Alabama. And it's the same blueprint that Vanderbilt laid for the rest of the country last year. And we saw several teams use that blueprint and give Alabama headaches. South Carolina did it. Oklahoma did it, right? Tennessee added a little bit of it. Well, guess who's still on your schedule? Oklahoma, Tennessee, South Carolina. And Alabama doesn't have as much margin for error as they did going into those games last year. They do now because they have one loss. But the point being, if Alabama could go out there and show that they could slow that kind of offense down, then that is going to build defensive confidence in them when they face similar schemes moving forward, right? Not only that, it's going to give the fan base more confidence that they can really beat anybody that they line up against. And I think right now Alabama could. I think the only team right now that would give them problems would be Miami, and that's just because Miami has a crazy good defense and a crazy good pass rush. That's why I keep hinting at watching that Auburn game. Auburn's offense is not good, but their defense is one of the best in the country. So, with this slate coming up, with this gauntlet still, sitting in front of Alabama, it's let's go 1-0 every week. That's the mentality, right? But now we have more confidence that when these quarterbacks throw stuff like Gus Malzahn likes to put in his offense, or, I feel more confident that Kane Wommack's going to be able to adjust and make the right decision and stop it. And that's why Alabama fans were so frustrated at the half, because last year he didn't. We didn't see that. That was the best adjustments, in-game adjustments I've ever seen from Kane Wommack since he's been at Alabama. Right? It was literally defensively, it was a tale of two halves. And that's a very positive sign for Alabama football moving forward. So thanks for hanging out with me. You guys are the absolute best. We love each and every one of you. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.